This is my first time having cleavage on this show. Ooh. Usually I'm wearing a tee and sneakers. Like that's just...
kind of.
Nah. Did we do it on purpose?
I did it on purpose.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Relebogile Mabotja Podcast. You tell us who you want to see on the show. Comment down below, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be the first to find out when a new conversation is out, because I'm always trying to find those interesting people you think you know, but I'm going to bring them here and be like, actually, you didn't really know them. And today's guest is somebody that I find very fascinating, interesting. Maybe he's a little bit slept on as well, but I love her. Sibu Mabena in the building. How are you?
I'm here.
You are here.
On the seat. And then you took it? Oh my God.
But you've done podcasts before.
I have, but you've got this thing.
What is this thing?
I mean, I almost came on here without my glasses on, because that's already your superpower.
You can still take them off if you want to.
No, it's fine. I need to see clearly. So I can hear clearly.
Whatever's happening.
Clearly. Because you are able to drag things out of people.
Do you remember the first time we met? Where we met?
I actually don't. Because I've seen you so much.
So I'll tell you. I was brought in to produce a live red carpet for the Metro FM Awards.
In Devon. Pitching to you and Baby Joe.
Yeah, before. So you were pitching when we were in Joburg.
Yes.
Oh, I think we met at Urban Brew, something like that.
No, it was at the SABC office.
Oh, yes.
In that big boardroom with that big table. I was so intimidated by you guys.
What?
Yes. Cool. I have this great idea. I've just come back from the MTV EMAs.
Do you know I remember the idea? So she says, and I remember, she said that she wants the red carpet to start with a performance of Ricky Rick coming down.
Yes.
I remember the idea.
You got in.
Yes.
With the dancers. I needed a steady cam following him.
Yes. I remember. It didn't work out, but not because the idea wasn't great. Just it wasn't. And at that time, I remember being introduced like, you're a dancer, you're a choreographer.
Yeah.
But then I was like always watching you, and I was like, okay,
I can do PowerPoints.
How did you go though from corporate to Umjaivo?
I started in Umjaivo. My whole life has been dance.
Really?
Until recently. Actually, even now, I'm still involved in dance because I was part of the South African hip hop dance team.
Yes.
Which competed, in
different championships.
Yeah, we were like focused individuals. Yeah. And then I started a dance crew called Fly Nation. 24 girls, all aged 16 to 25. And our thing was just to be really good hip-hop dancers who do well at school, who make our parents happy, and who still are able to participate in the passion of dancing. And with that, it just put me into a space where many different exposures I was working on. Strictly hip-hop, masters of rhythm, so the dancing or the eventing side of dancing. Then I got to work with brands. And then one thing led to another, and I got off stage and into the boardrooms and started focusing on building the business of dance and the business of creativity.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I ended up starting an agency, because the creative direction stuff started to take off.
Yeah.
And then there was a social media thing I was doing whilst being a bartender at the Sands. So there's communications.
You were a bartender at the Sands?
For 3 years, my dear. I've probably served you a gin and tonic. But
what? When?
When was this? I think 2013. So wait, first year 2010, 2011, 2012. Yeah, 2013 I started bartending.
So you can mix a good Cosmo,
I can make a strawberry daiquiri, okay? And I mean, that just exposed me to so many cool people because one, I'm in Sandton. Two, it was a really dope spot. Like the Sands was buzzing every weekend. Three, I'm meeting all sorts of people. From the DJs to artists to event promoters to marketers, brand managers, communicators, all sorts of influential people in the marketing space. But also, I'm in this dancing thing. I'm doing the Metro FM Awards, the SAMAs. We were doing the MAMAs, the MTV Based Africa Awards. I did jobs in Nigeria. We were speaking about that earlier.
Yeah, and working in Lagos is an adventure.
In Lagos, in Abuja, and all of that exposure, all of that experience had to find a home. And that home was Duma Collective. And so is Duma Collective.
Are people aware of what your upbringing was like and the fact that you come from a home of, and you can tell us more about that?
I think it's something I speak about openly. You know, it's not hidden. I post my dad a lot and just his conversations about this country, where we're at. Where
you have to tell us who Dad is, because you know, the different platforms don't all know each other like that.
Okay, fine. I mean, he's really not a popular guy. He's not a celebrity politician or anyone that is active in politics today, but he's an MK veteran. And I mean, Mkonto is the armed movement of the ANC,
not the party.
Yes. You know, he was part of the 1976 detachment.
Yeah.
He established Umkhonto weSizwe in Angola, and he's got a really great story of how he contributed to South Africa's liberation.
Yeah.
And I take a lot from that, because he's someone who's so invested in the people. He's so invested in other people doing well and actually benefiting from what this country has to offer. And he's really aware of we are not where we should be, especially considering the sacrifice he made in his own capacity alongside his comrades. My mom, who also had to leave the country because she was being kind of harassed, you know, by the apartheid police looking for my dad when he skipped the country. So I come from that. My name is Sibu because I was born in 91 when they returned back from exile. So being of a home of people who were so politically woke, so dedicated to this country and its liberation and the liberation of the people, I'm conscious. I'm conscious enough to not be ignorant to the fact that we have this beautiful land that we should be working to serve us, but for now it's still serving more people who shouldn't be getting it as much as the people who should. So he's grown. He's a 74-year-old man. My mom is also 74, turning 75, and between the two of them, I've learned to not just exist for myself. You know, we're part of something way bigger. There's so much life to live in the context of other people, and it's that upbringing that has made me who I am today.
Are the children of the vets and stalwarts in a WhatsApp group together?
You know, there's a guy called Njengabantu Simelani. His father and my father were in an ANC camp together, and shame, his father passed away in the camp. And my dad tells stories of him quite often. So I met Njengabantu through my dad, because my dad is the only link he has back to his father on the story of, you know, the last 8 years of his life. So him and I have found other people. We tried to do like this WhatsApp group thing, but we're just really living our lives and trying to self-actualize in our own lanes without, not even without, because we are not benefiting from, you know, our parents and what they sacrificed. There's an ongoing battle with military veterans right now to say we were not able to work the way others who stayed in the country were. So we don't have pension funds. We don't have land. We don't have reserves built up. We came back home with nothing, because we left home with nothing and started from scratch. So we're not able to access things the way, you know, ministers' children are, or any other, like, you know, the more politically astute people are. So we're working very hard with what we have and what we're able to do. So it becomes very difficult to keep in touch with others who are like us.
Is there like a part of the legacy that you want to continue, and if so, what does that look like, considering that the political landscape obviously has changed so much? It's a different fight, it's a different struggle, it's a different freedom to attain to.
I have this dream that when I turn 40, I'm retiring from this marketing, entertainment, having fun, doing cool things and getting paid for it.
Really?
And I'm going into public service.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, I studied political science and international relations. That's what I did at Tux. That's what I've qualified in. Everything else that I'm doing is really off of passion and exposure. So in a perfect world, I make a lot of money now, And at 40, when I'm older and people have more capacity to listen to what I have to offer, then I think the world or the environment will be ready to absorb a person like me who's super passionate about what they do, who actually knows a thing or two, and just wants to better the life or the lives of the people that we live amongst. And that's what's going to be my contribution back to my country.
So let's say this was your first campaign trail interview. You're an independent candidate. What are you offering the people, and specifically the youth?
I'm offering an opportunity to collaborate to become the change we want to see.
And what is the change you want to see?
I want to see an environment where we are able to do things that will benefit us and others, where people who are able to work the land can benefit from the land equitably. Where our citizenry is knowledgeable, is active, is involved in making sure that our situation is better. You know, we have the ability. We're not stupid people. We're not. Some are lazy, and that is, I believe, a result of really horrible socialization. But others are able to work hard. Others are able to gather themselves. Others are able to collaborate. Others are able to organize themselves in order to get things done. And I want to be a catalyst for that. I want to remind people who we are capable of being. And as a society, I don't think we have enough amplification of the good stories so that people can see that, oh man, if that person with 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 ears and a nose, just like me, who also comes from an environment like mine, is able to achieve simply because they worked hard, then why can't I? If we're able to gather ourselves as a society to focus or put a lens and a spotlight on that messaging, I think we would be so much better as a people.
So how do you balance those ambitions with, I mean, our industry, other than us being passionate people, it has some narcissistic, arrogant, self-centered energies about it, which many times it's required for you to advance. How do you balance all of that, which is like, I want to be of service, with the part where you're dealing with international celebrities? I mean, off the top of my head, one of the last pictures, I saw you with Busta Rhymes backstage. And it's not a small feat in the sense that, because I have intricate knowledge of what you actually do, how do you match that balance? Because I also have moments where I'm having out of body experiences of like, how is this my life? And you've been witness to some of those moments. So how do you balance it when you know that in the end you want to be of service?
It's first by recognizing that it is a job you have chosen to do. Being of service is something you're opting into, and you've got to take that responsibility seriously. Who am I of service to? My clients who have called on me, out of many people, many different suppliers. They've said, we choose you to come and help us achieve this objective. So that's the first group of people I'm servicing. Two, it is the people I'm working with, the agency partners, any other suppliers that we've got to collaborate with to bring something like a Busta Rhymes coming to South Africa in 48 hours to life. There's people that you are responsible to make sure that none of us look like clowns, right? It has to happen, and we've got to see it through come what may. Three, there's an obligation to the audience, the people who paid to be at Delicious Festival. 1,050 Rand is not easy money to come by. So when someone really puts an effort into buying that ticket, you've got to respect that and say, okay, what they are buying into is an experience that's going to take them out of their daily lives. It's something that they've got to come in and feel like, wow, this was amazing. This was worth my time. This was worth my money. So I'm of service to those people. I'm of service to my team. The people I've employed and I've taken into my confidence, and they've taken me into theirs to say, come with me on this journey. I will make it worth your while. You could have chosen to be at any other agency. You could have chosen to be doing anything else with your life, but you've chosen to go on this journey to build this oasis for African creativity to flourish. So I'm responsible for honoring our social contract.
Yeah.
But I'm also of service to my ancestors. Or would say, abantu mababheke mina, they must see ukuthi kaMadalane, kaMabena, kaZwane, kaMabuza. We are people who work.
Yes.
We are people who are honorable. We do what we said we would do. That's the part about being of service to the thing that you have been called to do. On the other hand, the reality on the ground is that you're working with people who have their own lived experiences that inform how they behave in certain situations. So I think understanding that and having that presence of mind to be able to discern between what's happening in different situations, because beslega artist person beslega manje, why is Titsana manje?
Yes, what changed?
Why am I fighting with you to leave backstage because the other artists also have to come in and have space, you know, those kind of things. And it's just to center yourself in the job that you're doing and remove yourself from nawe ukphakama and say, do you know who I am? Do you know who I've worked with?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in that moment. Right now we're dealing with this situation that the person you've worked with, the president or wherever, is not going to be able to help you with.
Yeah.
So it's just having that presence of mind to know how to discern how to react to certain situations.
One thing I'll give you full props for is I've been with you in crisis mode.
Oh, yeah.
And you have been so calm in your delivery. Even you're like, Relebogile, this is the situation. Let's work with what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I have the utmost respect for you because I'd be thinking to myself, why the is Sibu so calm? We're in crisis! And you were constantly just like, you know, and, you know, for those of you who definitely wouldn't know, because I don't think we put this out there.
Yeah.
But when I was doing Miss South Africa 2023, we were working together there. And you got line of sight of a lot of chaos backstage. And I will never forget you sitting next to me during the broadcast where we didn't know what was going to happen. And you were calm as a cucumber. And I remember thinking to myself, if Sibu's here and she's calm, whatever happens, we're going to be okay. Like, I'll never forget that feeling. And I have the utmost respect for you that. And I don't know where that comes from. Like, the fact that you were able to, in the midst of chaos, just be like cool as a cucumber.
I think there's just a moment in a situation where the reality must kick in and would say, I actually can't do anything further than what I've done. This is now, and I think we can swear here, there's a moment that happens, right? Come what may, what we've prepared is really the best possible scenario we can come out with. Everything else is left up to God.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, props to you for allowing the people around you to also do their jobs. Because it takes a leader that's able to trust Uguti. I've really brought this team to a point of a point where they can be confident in their jobs, even in the midst of crisis. That if my stage manager knows what they have to do, my show caller knows what they have to do, you had Nadine, please. Like, you could go to sleep, actually. And the curation of the team that you had, the communication you had with them, for me, I mean, I'm managing the talent.
Yeah.
And I had a team there that's dealing with all of that, the quick changes, making sure the makeup is on, the hair. What am I going to contribute to that when everybody's already doing their job? Right? And that was your position. What am I going to do further than being here, ready to troubleshoot if really a crisis further than the crisis we're in emerges? But it's just saying, I've done the best I can. The rest is up to God. And that's taken a lot of practice, a lot of training. There used to be a time where I was panic mechanic, shouting, and, you know, people called me out on it. My team called me out on it. We don't like how you speak to us when we're in crisis.
Really?
Yeah. I was WhatsApp monster. 2:00 in the morning. Guys, but
Exclamation mark.
Capital letters. That is me. And you have to get to a point as a leader where you self-reflect. Say, okay, there's something happening. There's a shift in energy. My people are not happy being here. What have I done wrong? What am I doing wrong? And what can I change? And it's a journey I've been on because I'm still not perfect. But I think it's that experience of having people call me out and me, luckily, being receptive to that feedback and then doing something about it and then trying to work on it, are getting me to a place where I can, in a crisis, just say, hey, we've done the best we can. Let's see what happens.
We surrender it. Which has been the hardest talent situation you've been in? You don't have to mention names, but what has been the hardest part? Because I'm talent and I wouldn't want to manage talent.
Yeah.
Not because I look at myself and think I'm difficult. I'm just like, there's no one size fits all.
Yeah.
Everybody has very unique and specific requirements for them and how they do things. And generally when you're in the role of talent and the pressure is on you to deliver, like it is high everything. But I would not ever want to do it. I think I am good at it when I need to be.
Yes.
But
You're
hate
the
that
talent
shit.
whisperer. What I've seen you do, say, wow.
is be able to calm situations.
Yeah. I've often wanted to call you to say, there's something I need you to say to this person. Because I don't know if I can say it and they will agree. So.
Can I tell you how you do it?
Yeah.
This is my trick and I learned it long ago. Give them an out. Whenever a talent is giving me a really hard time, I'll be like, look, I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here. So let's hurry it up. And then usually we all get sober very fast and say, cool, let's make this work. And it's not in a threatening way. It's in a genuine, you don't seem happy.
Yes.
How can we fix it?
But see, you can do that because you're an all saver. If the host says, okay, thank you, I'm actually leaving, you're able to step in. But as an event coordinator, I'm not going to have that conversation because who's my backup?
Yeah,
I cannot fire a talent or allow a talent to opt out if I don't have a backup, which I often do because I've learned to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
And it's really not to say people are so replaceable or, everyone's disposable. No, but as a person who is good at their job, you've always got to have a plan A, plan B, plan C.
Succession planning.
Absolutely.
No matter how short term it is.
Because anything can happen.
Yeah.
The person can really want to do the job and then be stuck at an airport in another country, not able to travel to arrive on time. What is your backup plan? Yeah, like there's things like that. And the toughest situation I've been in, I will not lie. Delicious Fest 2024.
Oh, Janet Jackson not
on
coming.
My knees.
Okay.
Thank goodness for the leadership at Delicious. Like that Exco team, I want to name them Tom, Lloyd, Lizelle, Kim, Munira. I will go to war for them because of how they allowed, even Wandile, sorry, I have to add that, but together, the troubleshooting was like, I've never seen anything like that. And 7:00 on Monday morning, the week of the event is on Saturday, this is the Monday, I see a headline that says Tito Jackson has passed away at 74, I think that's the age.
And you all automatically knew what that meant.
We were in status and they're sitting, it's a U-shaped table. I'm sitting here and they're sitting on the other end. I send a message in the group. They all look at me one by one, heads come up from their phones. And I saw Tom go pink. He just stood up and walked out. Everybody's carrying on with status, which means operations, activations, the sponsors, whatever, marketing, dance stage. All that's happening in my mind is, it's her brother. She has to go to the funeral. No, but she's an artist. She has to honor the booking. No, but it's, you understand?
Right.
In that moment, there's no thought of Busta Rhymes. There's no thought of Jason Derulo. You're not there. You're here at what is Janet Jackson going to do? And I was marketing director of the festival, so whatever decision happens, I have to find a way to communicate it in a way that's not going to drive people crazy. Already, I'm at ticket refunds.
But let's be honest, if she said she's coming, how would you have felt? If she came anyways and then missed her brother's funeral.
I'm playing many scenarios in my head. Okay, they are Jehovah's Witness. Fast. Okay, but maybe...
I love how you thought of that.
Maybe he might be Muslim, so maybe they're burying
They
tomorrow.
bury same day.
Okay, you're hoping. Right? Would see something plausible is going to happen and we're going to move on. But in the back of your mind, you're like, yo, this is her brother. And she's got to honor her responsibility to her family first. Yeah. The contract states that in the case of family death, or death of artist, death of a family member, death of someone on the touring party, the artist is able to cancel the show. So you're thinking about the contract as well. Like, what are what's going to happen?
Are you the one who said, Janet, okay, so we have funeral, yeah. A deposit,
No.
So, funeral. How does that work?
So that's why I say Tom and Lloyd.
Yes.
Amazing. The manner in which they approached the situation was so empathetic. It was so human. The money, the contract discussion came last.
Yeah.
It really was about what does she feel is right to do for her. And, in defense of the whole Janet performing in Paris on the Monday when she could have performed in South Africa on the Saturday,
yes,
it is that her Paris show is hers.
Yeah, this is not her show.
It's her responsibility.
Yeah.
It's her money. It's her, in collaboration with the promoters and all that she was doing, where Delicious was a booking.
Yeah.
And the respect. Yeah, but I mean, respectfully, because she really loves South Africa. She's performed here before. The promoter that brought her before, Tony Feldman, his wife was pregnant. Tony from Showtime.
Do you know he was on, that was the first company I worked for when I was a teenager, Showtime Management.
Incredible. I wanted to intern at Showtime my whole life.
What?
But now
I was in theatre on stage and Tony was there taking us everywhere, and he saw me from a teenager.
What a guy.
To now, yeah.
He was friends with my boss at the Sands, Alan. So that's where I met Tony and Glenn, because Glenn 21 was a partner in the Sands. So that whole crew of people I looked up to as event production people and promoters and all of that. But what I'm saying about Janet, she sent Tony's wife flowers because she was pregnant during the time that she was here.
Wow.
That's the kind of person that she is.
Yeah.
So I'm saying she really did want to come to South Africa, communication with her team. And then this happens. And it was just a genuine, guys, I can't. I really cannot, because this is happening in my life. And we had to accept that. We can't enforce a contract. Even it was going to be enforced back on us anyway. Yeah. So it's that. But in that moment, like I say, the team was amazing. And because we have really great people around us, they have great people, great networks. Yeah. Great... luck also that a Jason Derulo, a Busta Rhymes were able to fill the gap and put on an amazing show.
Look, it was a good save. I have to say, because I think no one could imagine who could have taken the place. I think it was an absolutely beautiful save. One of the things that I also remember about you, so there was this time where I was kind of like following your work and seeing like you growing your business, and at some point, I was like, Sibu's engaged! Yeah! She's engaged!
How did I know you were going to go there?
I love living vicariously through other people. And I was like, because I'm not a prying person, like in real life. I just like to watch. And then if we have a private moment, I might be like, oh, congrats. Aww. So here's my question. What made you comfortable? Because I don't share my private life at all. And I know love wants to scream from the rooftops. Yeah. What made you want to share, and have you changed your mind about what you share about your life?
What a powerful question. Wow. I think it was that in my, I don't want to call it immaturity, because that makes it a very negative thing. But in that time, in that period of my life, it felt like the right thing to do to, continue my narrative of you can have it all.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was subscribing to say, you can work absolutely hard. You can be in a position of power. You can really self-actualize as a young black woman in an environment that doesn't accommodate us being so bold and successful. And you can have love. And you can, have a family that's accommodating of your schedule and understands you as a person because they raised you. And this person who's choosing to participate in that is saying, hey, I take you as you are. So I think for me, it was a celebration of that and putting that out to say, girls, don't listen to them.
Yes.
You can't be a CEO out there. You absolutely can when the right person is there to support what you do. And unfortunately, the relationship didn't work out. And I'm fine with that because that relationship really served a purpose in my family. There's so many things it unveiled. There's so many connections it created. Now I know when it really happens, which uncles are we going to? Whose house is it going to happen at? Because I'm in a divorced home. Like my mom's one side, my dad's one side. So navigating that and the negotiations, the diplomacy that has to be applied, because it's a very sensitive thing. Your mom also wants to participate, but you're your father's child and there's all of that stuff. Then what came out of that process is such a beautiful connection in my family. And now it was like a great dress rehearsal,
for when the real
thing happens.
Yes.
And now I'm still very open about a lot of things. Like my grandmother passed away a couple of months ago, and so many people were able to empathize and sympathize because they knew her through my posts. And now when my friends came home and they come to the funeral, they're like, yo, we know her. We feel
she's
like
our
we met her. She's our grand. She was 99. It's like, our Coco didn't make it to 100. So it's that community that's been built off of what I show people, and that is real life, Uzi. I'm not just successful. I'm also my mother's child. I'm also my father's child. I'm my sister's sister. I'm my brother's sister. I'm my aunt's niece. And that's what I choose to show people. And the context of, the romantic life and all of that stuff, I've kind of kept it under wraps, so to speak, because I think there's now more to speak about in the context of my work and what we're doing and my family. So it's just different topics that I keep bringing in seasons. So catch me at season 34. You never know what you may see.
Yes.
Because right now, season 33, what I really want to speak about is what I'm doing to build this oasis for African creativity to flourish.
So if there were a young talent who you are managing and she's like, oh my gosh, I just got engaged, I want to tell everybody, what would you advise them?
It would be that if that's what you want to do, do it. And it's really not, I don't think it is a bad thing to show people what is true to you. Abantu abaningi like to say, no, keep things private. Some things are meant to be kept sacred. And I agree with that. But I also agree with expression and celebration. And also it depends on the relationship you have with your community. If the people that follow you, that you've cultivated a way of communicating with, subscribe to your life and not just what you do, then communicate with them in the way that makes them feel connected to you. So if a young talent feels like this is what I want to show, I support you, but let it be true.
Yeah.
So
that you can stand by it no matter what happens.
Correct.
Down the line. What was the biggest lesson you learned from that relationship?
In the relationship, or just like, does it matter?
Ending, in it, whichever.
So my dad said to me, and I what I learned was about my dad, actually.
Yeah.
And how attentive he is to his children. Because he's been my whole life the working man.
Yes.
People ask me, what does your dad do? I say, he goes to meetings. I just never knew what he does because he was always in meetings, always on his phone. Just like, this man, does he even know what I'm allergic to? Not that I'm allergic to anything. But in that relationship, his words to me were, and he said it in a metaphor, linking it to business, saying, in business, when there's nothing more to give the business, you've got to cut your losses. Otherwise, you'll have nothing left to go into another business with. He was just saying, the bottom line is profit. So when you stop making a profit, you've got to cut your losses. And his thing was saying to me, I think, if the bottom line of happiness is not being achieved, your fault or his fault, you guys have to cut your losses. Otherwise, you'll have nothing left to give to the next relationship. And that's the conversation I had with my partner at the time to say, dude, I don't think we're happy. And he agreed. Then we agreed. And it was fine. Rather than it getting to a level where, now it's tough. Now families must be involved. Now, so the lesson for me was that my dad
is actually
paying attention to the lives of his children.
How much did you sell the ring for?
I didn't.
You got it?
I don't.
You gave it back? I don't know which is worse. Did you give it back? Like, is it sitting somewhere?
So what happened was, damn. So I lost it.
What?
Yeah. What happened was...
By lost, are you not talking about those women where they throw the ring out the window?
No.
When the guy's driving because you're mad?
No.
Okay.
No,
just
Rihanna,
checking.
no Chris Brown. No. It was like a genuine misplacement of it. Maybe it's in the house somewhere. Like, if I move from the house a bit now, but it was a weekend. I was home. I was like preparing to actually just, do like some spiritual stuff, go to the river. Get me busy. My hands are working. I'm cleaning the house. I'd put it away, and now I want to put it on. I'm just like, oh my God. Wait, maybe it's in. I checked the oven. It's under the couch. When I inside the kettle, I looked inside the kettle. I couldn't find a thing. And partner was very understanding.
Was that the sign for you?
Not for me, for my family.
Really? About using the ring?
Family, yeah.
Wow.
But I thought nothing of it. I was just like, I'm so sorry. I was crying. She's like, and he's like, it's okay. It's fine. And I'm just like, no, but it's the first ring. That's so sentimental. You put so much into this. And it was a really beautiful ring. But lost it. And there was nothing left to give at the end of the relationship. So it was an easy parting of ways.
I already know there's men in the comments going to be like, she must pay back the ring. She must this and this.
No. He was a very clever person. It was already under the household insurance.
Yeah. So insurance.
So
I see. Yes. I see. So you can't tell anybody when you find the ring.
I'll tell him and say, look, here you go.
You'd give it back.
I would.
Nah, girl.
Why would I hold on to it? Because it's not something... it's not something that binds us together.
Yeah.
It's a gift that he gave to me, and I believe that, it's something that should go back to him, and he can decide what to do with it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. In terms of, you are also so big on education. You love your leadership, everything. You've plugged me to something that I want to go and do.
You have to do it.
I really want to do it. What are some of the missed opportunities you think we have when it comes to education in our country? Because there's so many opportunities abroad, particularly when you look at our industry.
Yeah.
And I don't have a university degree. I have some certificates here and there. I have ambitions of doing MBAs, but I just found that I learned faster
with the short courses.
The job.
Yeah. Well, on the job,
actually, on the job, like even learning how to be a producer was just being terrible at being a producer till I could learn to do it. But I'm curious what your thought is around that, because you're so big into education.
I wouldn't say I'm super big into it, because when that letter of congratulations, you have completed your degree came in, I was like, never and never again.
Really?
Well, I find myself suffering the way I suffered through this degree. I failed my major twice. And I believe my professor really just said, 50% agapumelo. Because it was so consuming of me when I wanted to do this entertainment and marketing thing. And years down the line, I'm just like, what was so hard about this thing? I could have sat down, read the material, wrote it well, and been done. But because I wasn't interested in it, I just wanted to finish it. I didn't pay attention to it the way I should have. So I think that informs what I believe our education can be like. There's a reason it's the way it is right now. And there are people who will qualify why it should stay the way it is right now. But in a perfect world, people would have the opportunity to learn that which they will be able to own and take and utilize to self-actualize.
Yeah.
So if I could, I would have created my own course after working or being exposed and knowing what I need to learn, which is an ideal course for me would be something that involves marketing, something that involves international relations, something that involves business practices, the basics of business, accounting, understanding basic law, being able, human resource management, the basics, right? And being able to design it according to my passions and my interests and what I've been exposed to. Right now, I think the tragedy of education is that the kids go straight into university without having seen what's possible, what's out there, and then siyamangala when they drop out.
Yeah.
Because what they thought they wanted to do was based on different inputs from different people, and now they're in it, and it's like, I actually cannot take this in because I don't like it, but we've wasted time and money, so what does the system do?
Here.
Forces you to stay in. And then siyamangala when they can't get jobs because they were passing with 50% to get out of the institution. So when I did the Harvard BEMS course, which is Business of Entertainment, Media and Sport, my mind opens up to, oh my goodness, this is how businesses in entertainment and media and sports have been built.
Yeah.
I wish I knew this 10 years ago. I don't think I would be, or I think I'd be way further. And if more people in our industry, in our circles, were exposed to that information, how much further would our industry be? The fact that we still don't have a minimum wage for the creative sector, and the minimum wage that applies to the rest of South Africa it's not fair in general.
Yeah.
In general, it is not the right amount. But in the context of the creative sector, I can't say it's worse because then people will, want to compare industries, but it's just to say it's not standardized in any way, shape or form. It is not fair to the inputs in any way, shape or form. The minimum wage that exists equates to your makeup and hair costs, okay?
And sometimes you are losing.
Yes.
The minimum wages you're putting in $2,500 or whatever the case may be. And I mean, you could look at the fact that we don't have unions, we don't have standardized anything, and for as long as somebody's willing to do it for free, it means nobody really has a leg to stand on in the industry. When it comes to some of the amazing gifted talents that you've worked with that are late now, who would you say like really comes to mind and stands out for you?
Sure. Pro Kid.
Really? Why him?
He was so funny. Just a funny guy. Just a cool guy. Onobuntu, famous as he was. And I was a kid, bro. Like, Pro Kid. I was just a kid. And he respected me. And he honored my growth to say, oh, you're here now. You were just a bartender the other day, or just a dancer, or, I think he really saw me. AKA, wow, what a guy.
Yeah.
We did a really cool thing in COVID, or during lockdown, where we were amplifying Chasing the Sun for DSTV. And I just learned, because we had done the Durban show, so we spent a lot of time with him. Actually, I just got engaged, and he was just like, it was a whole thing.
Yes.
Like, Papena, why would you get married? You're doing so much. But anyway, he did a thing where he was an online commentator for Chasing the Sun, and he interviewed the Springboks, so like weekly. And that comes from him having played rugby and been a really big fan of rugby, but I only found that out when we were talking in Durban, and it was during the World Cup, the first one that we won, and just his passion for it. So that's where the idea came from. And when I called him about it, he was just like, dude, you don't understand how much of a lifeline this is.
Wow.
Because no one was getting paid at that time. There's no gigs, there's no work, we're not doing anything. And he's in his house. He was, when I called to brief him, he was sweeping the house because Auntie Angisho can't come.
Yes.
Now he must clean his house himself.
No, I can tell you now, nobody was imagining that Keenan Forbes was sweeping his own house.
Yeah.
Right?
So just like what a great person to work with. Lastly, I would say Mposibeng, because he was a friend. And we worked in very small iterations, but just such a good guy, man. Such a good guy. Such a good guy.
How have you processed the grief? Because it's so trippy when you know someone personally and then everybody's grieving this person. So you can't even run away from it when it's happening.
Yeah.
In the case of someone like Keenan, the case is ongoing. But, you think about Ricky Rick's situation, circumstances. I think about Jabba.
Double HP.
Right? How do you process that grief? And this coming also off of the back of you've recently lost your grandmother.
Yeah. Mine has been through acts of service. Participating in their homegoing ceremonies in whichever way. With ProKid, it was working on the memorial and the tribute concert and all that money going to his daughter Nkanyezi, and just being a part of that with the community that's also grieving. All the other people who were so close to him all coming together and really just, what do we need to do? Let's do it. With it's like, Mpho, same thing. And with Mpho, when we were at the memorial and busy with that, my uncle passed away.
Wow.
So all of that, the working helps me because I have to think about it like, obituary. It's like Mpho's announcement. I was at the house outside typing it. So it's that, like, that's how I process the information and then release it out in the form of whether it's the homegoing or the announcement, whatever it is. So being of service to those people is what has helped me process.
And I know it's difficult because I think about Jamie Bartlett, who is such a close friend, and now I'm like going on radio to talk about someone as a public figure, but you actually know them.
Yeah.
And it's still so trippy because you forget sometimes that they're gone and you come across their works. How are you keeping the creative in you alive? Because, we speak business owner to business owner and the struggles of the economy and clients and stuff.
And the budget's decreasing, but the expectations increasing.
And the one day my mom had said to me, I think it was after we did Miss South Africa in 2023, she's like, ooh, how talky the idea to go fella. And I was like, maybe the ideas are gonna finish.
No.
Maybe the ideas are gonna finish. Like, I don't know. Here you go.
Thank you. Of course you would have to see. And that's what you're out here to do.
It's just a backup. It's a backup.
Thank you.
How do you keep that creativity when you are just, like you say, you're honoring clients, honoring your staff that you committed to? Sometimes you are in service at the same time. How do you keep the creativity?
Oh, man. I think so many different things. One, sleeping. Because as I recharge the battery, I wake up alive. I say, that's how we're going to do this thing.
Yes.
Two, I have a team that keeps me very honest. Like, if my ideas they'll find a way to make a good thing come out of it, or just be like, that's not gonna work. So I'm challenged by the people that I work with to be like, okay, we hear you, but what if we try this? I say, hey, damn, that's dope. 3, I expose myself to other great creatives. So being part of different award shows as a judge or a jury member, that really shows me what's happening out there in the world. Like the Luries, you're seeing work from Middle East, West Africa, and South Africa, and you'll watch something, you're like, yeah, I wish I thought of that, So now you're challenged. I travel, I try to go and see other places, other people. I meet people, I talk to people. I'm very curious. I read, I watch, I absorb, and then out of that, all of those influences, then I create.
Do you ever get scared that the tap might run dry?
No, I don't think that's how God has built us. I've built this business also not knowing what I'm doing. I don't have a business certificate. I don't have a marketing degree. I don't have a performing arts qualification, yet here I am because the grace of God has carried me to where I am. He made Noah build an ark. A Noah of Noah, in his age, in his grown age, with no architectural qualification, made him build an ark. So if God calls you, he will qualify you. And that is what has kept me going. It's to say, if the tap runs dry, it's because I'm dead.
That was well said. If God calls you, then he qualifies you. I think many of us can take that with us, especially if there's the imposter syndrome and all of those other things we deal with. Some people don't know the journey of Duma Collective. Please share, because MultiChoice also played a role, and how did it come about? Because sometimes I think people will look at a person and be like, ooh, that Sibu so lucky. One moment get pasta, ooh, got delicious, office, like it's so easy to look on the outside and be like, she's so lucky.
Yeah, or that it happened so easily. And it didn't. I mean, I'm 33 today, and I've been working since I was 16 in dancing, babysitting, distribution of flyers. I was a promoter.
You were there.
Try next ma. Yazi ma ungathenga ama-Sanex to my Pick and Pay, let's sleep.
Yes.
Uzothola prize. I've done that. I've done so many things to make money, but to teach myself and to be exposed to things. And in that time, I've done voiceovers for training videos for APSA and F&B.
Wow.
I've not acted, but I've been in TV commercials. As a kid, I was in the Cumber Club, actually. Like, I've done things. All of that to say, at some point in my journey, I started running a very high-level freelancing operation where, when I was doing the metros, it's as a choreographer and a creative consultant, as a freelancer, though.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm working for Pop Bottles. DJ Dimples, another passing that, really rocked me, because I found out when I was at the Sands for an event that Major League was doing. It was just like such a crazy time. Anyway, DJ Dimples and Lance gave me office space, and Spare Names were also sharing there. So that's how I got close to them, because every day we're seeing each other at the office. So I'm freelancing for Pop Bottles. I'm doing campaigns for MTV Base, but I'm also working for Shaga Sisulu at Plum Factory. And then I get employed by an MTV to be a marketing assistant for 6 months, because someone had just resigned or quit, like, unexpectedly. And that morphed into more exposure, more jobs. And at some point, I had to organize myself into an actual operation. So I was doing a documentary for the Gauteng legislature as a researcher for Global Access. And to get paid,
you needed your paperwork.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do it as a freelancer, because the tax was higher. It's 28%. So I said, no, let me register a company and invoice company to company so that I can use that money as capital for other work, not necessarily to pay myself a salary, but just to be able to run other projects and increase then that money. So use it as my startup capital for my business. So I registered a company, and it was an official thing. I had a website, I had an email domain, Mbuduma, because that was Mbuduma Communications. I had employees with pay slips and employee numbers. I was running a serious thing. But at some point, so this was 2014, come 2016-ish, I started to realize that this Mbuduma Communications name is not catching in the market. People can't think of the name when they need a solution to a problem. And with that in mind, you know, because it was just bugging me that why can you say Ogilvy but you can't say Mbuduma? Like, why? You know, why can you say capacity relations but you can't say Mbuduma? And we're servicing the same client, and you're black client. So that just forced me to do something about it, because I can't complain and not change it. So I registered Duma Collective in 2017. And by then we already had really cool clients. Like SAB was a client, and SAB actually put us through a business development program. And it like really incredible opportunity. So that's where the luck comes in. That Mimi Tabete saw me as this young, really ambitious girl running this operation, doing cool things, and it was dancing still in that space. And she petitioned for me to be put onto this program, and it was run by Sibu Mabena. So in there, you know, it's an 8-week course where they really workshop you into being a business that can service a company like an SAB. So it was an enterprise supply development program. And during that process, I learned so much about packaging your business offering. What do you do? How do you service my business? And what value can I extract from you as a client? That's what started the wheels of Duma Collective. So when the Duma Collective comes into play, we are working from spaces in Sandton and paying a lot of money. But for me, it was that an office address in Sandton.
Visibility, the
makes
positioning.
You so official.
Yes.
It makes your clients believe that you're using your money wisely.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we are wasting money
on rent.
Expensive office on rent. And then we move out of there into Dunkeld, which we got now a lease, 3-year lease. And this is in 2019.
Just before COVID.
Yeah, 2019, October, I signed a lease. Hey, I'm going to be paying 15,000 Rand instead of the 28,000 I was paying for desks at spaces. Now, fine, I kit out the office, but the time we're kitting out, we're working from home. So as a team, we're ready now, working from home. We're kind of used to it because we're waiting to move into our office in January when we open. Jan becomes Feb for some reason. Then we say, okay, cool. We're going to go back to the office in March, because then I was traveling to go work at Global Citizen. Kanti 27 lockdown. House party. Lockdown house party comes into play.
Yeah.
Shimza, PH, myself, we're
I even forgot
doing this
about
thing.
that. It felt like forever ago.
Yes, it feels like no man, you went through what? So we did lockdown house party, and then MultiChoice. I mean, that's the only new content that is on air.
Yeah.
And Gomorrah. So it's Gomorrah and lockdown house party.
Yes.
So someone, an executive called Jabavu Heshu at MultiChoice says, who's this lockdown house party people? And the social media was buzzing. So it was a very digital-led campaign, right? And his team reached out to me, and a guy called Ben and another one, Clayton, the two of them just called and were like, hey, we're from MultiChoice. We're looking to work with you. We've got a campaign for you. And that campaign was the MultiChoice Showcase. You know, you did the next one after the first one that we did.
Really?
Yeah, so we worked with Darren Hayward, and
I know Darren,
the stories that were, that's when they announced Shaga.
Yes.
They announced Stockfell, DSTV Stockfells. They announced a whole lot. Hey,
all of the MultiChoice group new things.
Lots of things. And our job was an influencer campaign. And they asked us, to revert to the brief. And mine was, let's do 1,000 influencers for the campaign. Let's get 1,000 influencers to amplify all these good things that MultiChoice is doing. And the business couldn't believe it. So Joe was like, hey, no way. This plan sounds crazy, but I'm going to let you present to my Exco team. The Exco team consists of CEO.
Yes.
A CEO of General Entertainment.
It's the head honchos.
The bosses.
Yeah.
And we present 1,000 influencers, this one, who, what. And now they start ideating amongst themselves. Yeah, maybe we could do this. Maybe I said, okay, cool, maybe we can. And they onboarded us as a supplier. And we got to do that. And then shortly after that, Joe was like, hey, we've got this MultiChoice Innovation Fund that we are focusing on digitally led businesses or digital first businesses for this cohort.
Yes.
So the Throne magazine, Bubblegum Club, it was us. There was so many different companies. There were 8 of us. And then through that, we pitched our businesses, put together business plans to say if we were to get funded, this is what we would do. And yeah, that's how we got into the MultiChoice Innovation Fund, got funding. My amount was R1 million. And I used that money mainly for equipment for all the new people that I was bringing into the team, because you actually have to apply to use the money.
Yes.
You
can't, she didn't take it and buy a car.
No, proof of payment. Now you can go do what, no, it's such a tight system.
Yeah.
Because that's not what, the money is not there to enrich you. The money is there to contribute to your business growing.
Yeah.
And also making you a supplier that can service a MultiChoice. So with that came pipeline.
Yes.
And we were able to get work in the form of the social media management, PR, activations, events, etc. So that's how we became part of the MultiChoice family. And yeah, there's a lot that we were able to do and achieve and contribute to their world.
The reason I love this story is because you show the informal parts of how you got into it.
Yeah.
But you also show at some point you actually have to have your together.
Yeah.
Where's your BE certificate? Where's your tax clearance?
Yes.
Where's your this
are you
and this
are
and
you
this?
a registered entity in the Republic of South Africa? Does CIPC recognize you? Yes.
Are you on the central database? Are you on the
but the CSD doesn't even matter because they're a private entity, right? Listed but private. But the basics. Do you owe SARS? We can't work with you.
Yeah.
Because as a company, how do you engage with companies that are not compliant? They can't put themselves at risk like that.
So here's then the question. If you're your own boss, do you think you pay yourself enough?
I pay myself what the business can afford to pay me.
So the answer is no.
I don't know what enough is, right? I've built my life on living below my means. That's always been the case. I've had lots of money in the bank, because I couldn't afford mali as a bank, because it's a client's money that has to execute a job. Yeah, I'm sitting with it. It's in my care.
But it's not yours.
But it's not mine.
Yeah.
A portion of it belongs to me
after
the job is done. So I've always had that in mind, Uti. If you can live below your means, then you're not struggling with what you're getting. So I've you see me, I'm a simple girl, man. I'm sloopy. I just do the most I can with what I have, because I'm trying to be equitable. I pay people according to, an industry standard and a little bit more.
Yeah.
When we can do bonuses, we do. When we can reward people, we do. When we can increase salaries, we do. And it's all based on we can. When we can't, we're also very honest with our teams to say, guys, this year we're not having a big, lavish Christmas party. We've got to keep it tight and tidy and demure so that we can ensure sustainability of salaries. And that's how I've always built the business, because there's no one person that can say I've owed them money.
Yeah.
There's no one person that can say I've missed a salary payment, except for during COVID. And even in COVID, the conversation with the team was, guys, according to our budgets, go and look at your personal budget. What is the absolute least
minimum
I can pay you
to cover you,
just so we can get by with these 2-3 months whilst we wait for payments from clients, because at some point work stopped coming in. At least lockdown house party helped, and then other work started.
Yeah.
The DSTV work came in. We did some work for Coca-Cola, because also now in that time we're now transforming. We're collaborating with other people because other agencies are closing down. So the clients who are being serviced by those agencies that have closed are looking for new suppliers, and we were ready to take on the work.
Yeah.
And what? I'm compliant. My tax
You're
is there.
ready.
My tax clearance is there. My
Yeah.
BEE, all of those things. So ready to meet opportunities, and that's where luck comes in, because we were ready to meet the opportunities that came our way. And two, I think just being open to doing the work, learning how to do the work, and then doing it well. So, this Duma Collective that has 2 buildings now in Randburg and this big landmark on 20 Republic Road didn't just happen because, MultiChoice gave them work, now they have a building. No, we've been servicing many clients and working very hard with really passionate young creative people who believe in this dream, and with clients who believe in us and who are willing to give us a chance and can see our heart because we are of service.
I will say this, you are a damn hard worker. I've seen you on video calls at 2 a.m. I've had phone calls with you at 4 a.m. And I have so much respect for you. You still qualify as youth because you're under 35.
Yes.
Me, I'm Gora to 40. And I can look at you and say, oh, my child, I adore you. I adore your work. And I'm glad that people are going to get to see a different side to you, because there's a lot you do behind the scenes that they're not aware of. There are a lot of big, powerful brands and machines you behind that people don't even know. But what I'm most excited about is I'm setting a reminder on my clock 7 years from now at age 40. She will be servicing the public.
I will.
I'm holding you to it.
Whether it's me getting in as an intern and working my way up, or, having the privilege of network that is able to see my potential to put me in a role where I can be of serious influence, mine is to find a way to give back. And I hope our political climate is allowing of that at that time, and if not, I'll find another way to serve. But of service, I will be.
Of service she will be. Sibu Mabena, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you over the nerves now?
I am. I cried. Okay? You did that, so there's that. You asked some
it's either crying or laughing. It's one of the two.
I'm so grateful to be able to have a conversation like this with you. Thank you for seeing me.
Oh, man.
Thank you for seeing me beyond what I do. Thank you for seeing that I'm also human. Thank you for being a mirror to us. Thank you that we are able to also see ourselves as reflections of you because of all that you do, and how generous you are with your platform, with your light. You shine so much light on other people. So this feels like I'm standing in your light, and I'm so appreciative of that.
You're not allowed to
make
me cry.
No, you work so hard to platform other people. That's actually crazy, but it's your calling.
Thank you.
That is you being of service.
Thank you.
So thank
and
you.
I cannot do it without all of you. So keep watching, keep commenting, keep subscribing, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to share as well so that we can just get to know more about one another. One thing I know for a fact that I am really getting out of this podcast is that I really love conversations. And to all the people who used to tell me I talk too much when I was younger, now I'm getting paid to do it. Till next time.